Hello, my dear students. Jai Swaminarayan. So, students, this is our part 3 of our chapter number 5, the fundamental unit of life. It means cell. Okay, guys. So, in previous lecture, we have discussed about our structural organization of the cell. In that topic, we have discussed about our plasma membrane or cell membrane, and we have discussed about cell wall, and finally we have discussed about our nucleus. Now in today's lecture we are going to study the cytoplasm, our textbook 5.2.4, our cytoplasm. Okay, so when we look at the temporary mount of onion peel as well as human cheek cells, we can see a large region of each cell enclosed by the cell membranes. As I said earlier, human cheek cells and onion peel, both ideal cell. For onion cell peel is a plant cell and human cheek cell is a animal cell. So both are ideal respectively. Now we have seen under microscope and the large region we have seen of each cell enclosed by the cell membrane. Okay, so as we know what is cell membrane. Okay, so cell membrane is outer layer of the cell. Now this region takes up very little strain. The region of enclosed by the cell membrane is called as cytoplasm, and this cytoplasm region takes up very little strain. Staining means to give color, so it will take only little amount of stain, and it is called as cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is the fluid content. Fluid content means what is the difference between liquid and fluid. So guys, liquid is only liquid, no substances is there, but in the fluid content there is some substances and complex materials is present in our fluid content. So this is the difference between fluid and liquid. Okay, so fluid is one type of liquid, but in fluid there are some substances, and in our here this topic in cytoplasm, the fluid of cytoplasm contain our different cell organelles. Okay, so like that. So fluid content inside the plasma membrane, it also contains many specialized cell organs. That's why it is called as fluid. Specialized cell organelles are there. We will see each cell organelle. Each of these organelle perform a specific function for the cell. Different cell organelles have different their function in the cell and finally in the body. So these cell organelles are enclosed by the membranes also. They have their outer layer called as membrane. In prokaryotic, beside the absence of defined nuclear region, the membrane bound cell organelle are also absent. Okay, so in prokaryote example is bacteria. So in bacteria or in prokaryotes, there is no any cell organelles which are membrane bound, and there is defined nuclear region also absent. Okay, so this is difference of prokaryote and eukaryotes. So this is prokaryote. On the other hand, in the eukaryotic cells, meaning the best example is we are humans, higher animals, higher plants are the eukaryotic cells. So eukaryotic cells have nuclear membrane as well as membrane enclosed organelle. Both things are present in eukaryotic cell but absent in prokaryotic cell. Now in this picture you can easily see the cytoplasm. So here purple color is a cytoplasm and this blue colors are some cell organelles. This is our nucleus, white color nucleus, and this is outer layer. Okay, so you can see like this. So the significance of membranes can be illustrated with the example of viruses. Viruses lack any membrane and hence do not show characteristic of life until they enter a living body. So here the significance, it means the importance of the membrane is given in the with the example of virus, because viruses does not have any membrane, so they not show characteristic of life, because in live cell there is a membrane. Okay, so that's why the virus lacks the membrane and does not show the characteristic of life. until they enter a living body. But if they enter the living body, they will survive. So this is the virus. Virus is a connecting link between living and non-living. So virus is nor living and neither non-living, but is a connecting link and use its cell machinery to multiply. Which cell machinery of the human? For example, a virus is in enter in the living body. For example, in the human, it will use the cell machinery of their body for their multiplication. So that's why we called as connecting link between living and non-living. So here the best example of virus is given for the life characteristic of membrane. Now we are going to study our cell organelles. Different cell organelles are there. So every cell has a membrane around it to keep its own content separate from the external environment. We have already discussed about in our plasma membrane topic. So membrane around it, because what is the function of membrane? To separate the contents from both side, external environment. Okay, so large and complex cells, including the cells from the multicellular organism, need a lot chemical activities to support their complicated structure and function. So this is the important of cell organelles. So there are large and complex cells, but all multicellular organism, they need chemical activities. Certain chemical activities are there to support their complicated structure. Okay, as for example our human, so very complicated we are, and their function also. To keep these activities of different kinds separate from each other, these cells use the membrane bound little structure, we can say organelles. So this is called as organelles. They are membrane bound. It means they have their outer layer membrane, and these activities can differ from these organelles. So this is one of the features of eukaryotic cells that distinguish them from the prokaryotic cell. So this is another feature which can differ the both eukaryotic and prokaryotic cell. So some of these organelles are visible only with an electron microscope. We require electron microscope to see the some organelles. Okay, so they are very little, very minute amount, and very minute size is there. We have talked about the nucleus in previous section. So some important examples of cell organelles which we will discuss now are the endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, mitochondria and plastid. So these are the example and important examples of the cell organelles. So we will discuss it later. They are important because they carry out some very crucial function in the cell. Okay, why important? Because they have function, they have their complex functions and required function in the cell. So this is very necessary and very important. So you can see our cell like this Google image. So here our mitochondria, this is our plasma membrane, microtubules, lysosomes. Okay, many different cell organelles are there. This is our nucleus, and in the nucleus there is nucleolus is there. Nucleolus is the center of nucleus, and nucleus is the center of our cell. Endoplasmic reticulum here, Golgi vesicles, Golgi apparatus. Okay, so this is our cell. Now our first cell organelle is endoplasmic reticulum. It is called as ER. Now the endoplasmic reticulum is a large network of membrane bound tubes and sheets. So there is tubes and sheet like structure and very large network. It means around the nucleus it looks like long tubules or around or oblong the bags. This is called as vesicles. So they have long tubule and vesicles. So you can see in this picture also. The ER membrane is a similar in structure to the plasma membrane. So ER have own membrane and called as just look like the plasma membrane. There are two types of ER. Rough ER, it is called as RER, rough, and Another is smooth ER. It means SER, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and rough endoplasmic reticulum. So there are two different types. Now RER, it means rough, looks rough under a microscope because it has particles called ribosomes attached to its surface. So here you can see easily there are ribosomes. Ribosomes are cell particles on the surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum. That's why it is called as rough, not smooth. So due to ribosome, the ribosomes which are present in all active cells are the sites of protein manufacturing. So guys, protein are made on the place of the ribosome. So ribosome is a place where protein are making. So the manufactured proteins are then sent various places in the cell depending on the need. Okay, so proteins are very necessary to our cell and our body. So that's why protein manufacturing is very important in the cell, and the different proteins are there and they have different functions. So manufactured proteins are sent to various places in the cell depending on the need. So need is for the need. For example, there are different proteins which are helps in our cell body activities, like our WBC, RBC. So they are the blood cells, but in their activity enzymes are required also. In lipid digestion there are enzymes required. So the depending on the need, what is the use of protein, and depend on that the proteins are transported from one place to another place in the one cell or the same cell. Now the smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in the manufacture of fat molecules. So this is the use of SER. So SER helps in the manufacturing of fat molecules or lipid, we can say. Fat and lipid are both similar words and important for the cell function. So lipids are also important, okay, as protein are also important. Some of these proteins and lipids help in the building cell membrane also. So proteins and lipids are also useful for the cell membrane. This process is known as membrane biogenesis. Biogenesis means bio means life and genesis means to synthesize. So membrane, यहाँ पर जो membrane बन रही है उसको हम बोलेंगे membrane biogenesis. So this is process is known as membrane biogenesis. Some other proteins and lipids function as enzymes. As I said earlier, proteins, okay, enzymes are the proteins. So some other proteins and lipid function as enzyme and hormone. So hormone is also protein. For example, insulin. Insulin is a hormone that regulate our glucose of the body. Although the ER varies greatly in appearance in different cells, it always form a network system. Okay, they have different appearance, but they always form a network system. So we can find ER in network system, but appearance is different, we can see. Thus, one function of the ER is to serve as channel for the transport of materials. Transport of materials means from one side to another side, and channels is one type of bridge, we can say, bridge like, especially proteins between the various region of cytoplasm or between the cytoplasm and the nucleus. So this is transport system by the ER, endoplasmic reticulum. The ER also function as the cytoplasmic framework. Framework means to give them structure, particular structure, to providing a surface for some of the biochemical activities of the cell. Okay, so biochemical activities also occur on that surface of ER. In the liver cells of the group of animal called as vertebrate. So we will see in chapter 7. So in vertebrate are the animals. SER plays a crucial role in detoxifying many poisons and drugs. So this is another important role of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum in the liver cells. Okay, so liver is our organ in the animals of the group of animals called vertebrates, in the vertebrates. So like that, this is the another role. Okay, in previous here our crucial role in detoxifying means, so detoxifying means to poisonless, to become the poisonless. Toxification meaning to give poison, but D means opposition to them. So like that. Now our another cell organelle is second is Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus first described by the Camillo Golgi, that's why the name is Golgi, consists of the system of membrane bound vesicles. Membrane bound vesicles, remember this word, and arranged approximately parallel to the each other in stalk called as cisternes. So this is our sixth number of, this is our Golgi apparatus. You can see the structure here. So membrane bound vesicles and arranged approximately parallel. Parallel means one and one the in manner, parallel manner, that's why. And this stack means थप्पी होना, किसी चीज का हम थप्पी एक के ऊपर एक रखते हैं वैसा. सो स्टैक कॉल्ड एज सिस्टर्नी, तो इसको हम सिस्टर्नी बोलेंगे. नाउ this membrane often have connections with the membrane of ER also. So these are connecting between ER and therefore constitute another portion of a complex cellular membrane system. So they both combine and make the complex cellular membrane system. The material synthesized near the ER is packaged and dispatched to various targets. Dispatch means to send. कहीं पर हम भेजते हैं चीज़ तो उसको बोलते हैं dispatch. So inside and outside the cell through the Golgi apparatus. So Golgi apparatus क्या करेगा, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पे चीज़ों को भेजेगा. चीज़ें मतलब यहाँ पर प्रोटीन्स एंड लिपिड्स. It function include the storage, modification and packaging of the product in vesicles. So these are the functions of Golgi apparatus. Storage, to store something. Modification means to modify. Modify means to edit. Okay, make and break. So this is called as modification. And packaging also of the product in the vesicles. In some cases, complex sugars may be made from the simple sugar in the Golgi apparatus. So Golgi apparatus, this is another role of Golgi apparatus, is to make the complex sugar from simpler ones. So simpler sugars are, one example is glucose. Glucose is a simpler sugar, and complex sugar means to starch. So make the starch. So starch is a storage form. The Golgi apparatus is also involved in the formation of lysosomes. Okay, involved in lysosome formation, because lysosome are another important cell materials are there. So Golgi apparatus is also useful in there also. So here we can say this Golgi apparatus, this is ER, endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, this is mitochondria, this is nucleus. Now we are going to discuss our lysosomes. So structurally lysosomes are membrane bound. Okay, this is also membrane bound. Sacs filled with the digestive enzyme. Sac means to particular thing, जिसको हम बोल सकते हैं थैली जैसा, बैग जैसा. Okay, so membrane bound bag like structure filled with digestive enzymes. So enzyme is a protein. Okay, but what is the role of enzymes? So enzymes does the chemical reaction very easily. They occur, the chemical reactions are occurring in our cell, they make them easy. So enzyme role is to make them easy. And digestive enzyme means digestion. In the digestion there are various enzymes are there. For example, pepsin enzyme is there in our digestive system. So these enzymes are made by the RER, rough endoplasmic reticulum. And lysosome are a kind of waste disposal system of the cell. So this is another function of lysosome. They are waste disposal system. It means waste material they will remove out from the cell. So waste disposal meaning they remove the waste of the cell, waste material. This is not required by the cell. This helps to keep the cell clean. Okay, जैसे ही waste material remove होगा तो सेल क्लीन हो जाएगा बाय द डाइजेस्टिंग एनी फॉरेन मटेरियल एज वेल एज वन आउट द सेल ऑर्गेनल्स. ओके, वन आउट द सेल ऑर्गेनल्स मीन्स सब कुछ वो साफ कर देगा वहाँ पर, एंड जो सेल को रिक्वायरमेंट है वो उसके अंदर रहने देगा. फॉरेन मटेरियल मीनिंग फ्रॉम द आउटसाइड. सो फॉरेन मटेरियल एंटरिंग द सेल such as bacteria or food as well as old organelles end up in the lysosome also. So lysosome is the place where the old cell organelles are end up or we can say are die in the lysosomes, which break the complex substances into the simpler forms. So this is the role of lysosome in the cell. So which breaks the complex substances, meaning complex meaning large substances are there and they convert into simpler substances. Okay, so lysosomes are able to do this because they contain powerful digestive enzyme. Okay, this is the role of lysosome, is break complex substances. But why? Because there is digestive enzymes are there, powerful digestive enzymes capable of breaking down the all organic material. Okay, organic material means material which have carbon. So during the disturbance in the cellular metabolism, for example, when the cell gets damaged, lysosome may burst and the enzymes digest their own cell. So this is the very important role of lysosome. Okay, during the cell disturbance means in cellular metabolism, when cell gets damaged, if सेल डैमेज होता है तब ये लाइसोजोम बहुत काम करते हैं. लाइसोजोम में बर्स्ट मीन्स टू ब्रेक देम सेल एंड एंजाइम डाइजेस्ट देयर ओन सेल. ओके, देर उसका अपना ही सेल वो डाइजेस्ट करेगा. सो लाइसोजोम, दिस इज द मेन रोल ऑफ लाइसोजोम. Therefore, lysosome are known as the suicidal bags. Why suicide bags? Because they digest their own cell. That's why suicide bags. But this is very necessary to cell also. Okay, so lysosomes are the known as suicide bags. Very important MCQ or very important question can be asked. Okay. Now, our very important cell organelle is mitochondria. So mitochondria are known as the powerhouse of the cell. This is very important sentence here. The powerhouse of the cell. So mitochondria is the powerhouse. Why? We will see. So mitochondria have two membrane coverings. There are two outer layers. The outer membrane is porous. Porous meaning having some little pores. While the inner membrane is deeply folded. Okay, and this fold increase the surface area of the ATP generating chemical reactions. So why powerhouse called as powerhouse? Because this is the place of ATP generation. Okay, ATP की factory है यहाँ पर. We can say like that. So ATP are the very important because ATP is a energy rich. ATP gives the energy to the cells. So that's why we call this powerhouse. Powerhouse meaning they produce the energy. So energy is produced by mitochondria for the cell and by the form of ATP. So that's why called as powerhouse of the cell. Okay. आपको कोई रात को 3 बजे उठाकर भी पूछे कि सेल का पावर हाउस कौन सा है तो आपको मालूम होना चाहिए माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया. The energy required for various chemical activities needed for life is released by the mitochondria in the form of ATP. I have told earlier, ATP, the full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate molecules. Okay, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so this is ATP. So energy required for various chemical activities and released by the mitochondria in the form of ATP. So that's why called as powerhouse. So this is very important. So here you can see in the picture first, there are two membranes. Particularly this is outer membrane and this is the inner membrane, and inner membrane is very complex. Here we have discussed two membranes and porous. The first outer membrane is porous and the another inner membrane is deeply folded. So we can see here folded like this zigzag structure. So this is folding. Okay, so this is inner membrane and this is outer membrane. Outer membrane is porous. ATP is known as the energy currency of the cell. Okay, energy currency. In India, we have currency of rupee. 1 rupee, 2 rupees, 3 rupees. And in America, there is a dollar. Okay, $1, $2, $3. But ATP is the energy currency of the cell. Okay, so our cell have currency is ATP. The body uses energy stored in ATP for making new chemical compounds and for mechanical works. So why we need ATP? Why our cell need ATP? because the energy storage in ATP making new chemical compounds for mechanical work. So that's why this is important. And mitochondria are strange organelles in the sense that they have their own DNA and ribosome. So this is very important because mitochondria have their own DNA. Own DNA means खुद का अपना डीएनए है उसके पास. सो डीएनए इज अ डीऑक्सी राइबोन्यूक्लिक एसिड. ओके, so this is the full form of DNA. And DNA, what is DNA? So DNA is a inheritance material of every cell. Okay, every cell has their own DNA. And mitochondria, normally the DNA present in our nucleus. Okay, but mitochondria also has their own DNA. Okay, so that's why they are strange organelles in the sense that they have their own DNA, and ribosome also are there. So ribosome also are there for the mitochondria. Therefore mitochondria are able to make some of their own protein also. Okay, आत्मनिर्भर. तो यहाँ पर माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया आत्मनिर्भर है, वो उसका डीएनए यूज़ करेगा, उसका राइबोसोम यूज़ करेगा एंड अपने प्रोटीन खुद बनाएगा. ओके, सो लाइक दैट. ओके, सो थैंक यू गाइस for this lecture. In next video we will see our plastid topic, vacuole topic. Okay, and then in next lecture our chapter will be finished. Okay, so thank you guys, and Jai Swaminarayan. Keep making notes. So see you in next lecture.